Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest's #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Alrighty, guys, welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. As the big voice man said there, we've got 4 locations to help you out when your computer is misbehaving, when your hard drive won't give you the information you need. Maybe you're in the market for a new laptop or a new desktop, or maybe it's time to throw an upgrade at it so you can try out Windows 11 and get all those advanced security features. Windows 11 just keeps progressing in what it does to keep you safe further and further and further beyond what Windows 10 does. In fact, later this year, there's going to be a feature upgrade. There was some confusion about this earlier in the year. There's going to be a feature upgrade, but it's only for Windows 11. This is the big upgrade that you get Safe Upgrade for. But if you have Windows 10, you're not going to get it. You only get it on Windows 11 now because there are no new features being released for Windows 10. Microsoft's not going to give you a reason to stay if they can help it. 402-558-1110 is the local number to join us on the program. If you're outside of the Omaha metro area, 888-250-2091. Last week on the program, we told you about some exciting changes coming to Drive Advisor, a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff of what's happening with the coding environment and some of the challenges that we face with Drive Advisor and, what it does. I haven't talked about it in a long time. So we spent some time on that. Also, it mentioned that iOS 15.6 is out for your iPhone. So if you have not updated that, it's definitely a security update you should install. You should expect your battery to perform like donkey after that for about a day. So it's best to do the update at night while your phone is on the charger. So just a heads up there on that one. And that's universal for all Apple updates, by the way. Also, OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT. Yeah, we told you about how Europe wants to regulate them into oblivion. Oh, we can't have AI taking jobs or whatever. So OpenAI says, well, then maybe we just won't have AI in Europe. You can't just quit. You have to play ball. Like, no, not really. We don't. The rest of the world can continue to advance on with AI and just kind of leave Europe behind if that's really what you want. I mean, heck, in the Ukraine, they're still fighting with World War I tactics. So, I mean, it's not like progress is something that's really cherished around there. Also, Surgeon General's warning about social media use. Surgeon General's warning says it's bad for kids. Maybe. Schmaybe. Especially little kids. 95% of them are on the internet or on social media on the internet. And we're starting to notice that there could be some detrimental effects here. Yeah, you think? So the Surgeon General warned about it. I don't know if they're going to start putting grotesque pictures of people on the sides of computers now. They wanted to put pictures of people with rotten jaws on the packs of cigarettes to discourage people from smoking them. Well, to see the picture on the side of the pack of cigarettes, you had to actually buy the pack of cigarettes, right? To see the warning. Well, that's like you fall down a manhole cover and they print a warning down at the bottom, caution. There's a hole in the ground up there. It's a little late by the time you've got the cigarettes in your mouth. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. So coming up on the program today, we're going to keep the trend going, talking about things I haven't talked about in a long time. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into Secure Updater and what it does. Also, we got a story about Ford and AM radio. You may have heard that Ford was removing all AM radios in 2024 from their vehicles, and we have an update on that story for you. Also, ways you can speed up a slow internet connection on your own. If you're not satisfied with the speed that your internet connection is giving, there are some things that you can do at home to try to speed it up a little bit. So we're going to share those with you. I know that the vast, vast majority of you really could give a rat's rear end about cryptocurrency. I get it. I totally understand it. This story is about cryptocurrency, but it's way deeper than that. Hong Kong is becoming a crypto oasis as America and other Western countries shun the industry. So in the grand scheme of things, you'd be like, well, good riddance. Maybe you have the Warren Buffett approach to it where you're like, it's just a bunch of fake stuff anyway. Let China screw with it. The problem, China owns Hong Kong, remember? The problem here is there are trillions of dollars of Chinese savings that are trying to escape the closed economic market of China. Right now, the only way that those get out is through Macau. That's the only city in China that casinos are allowed to exist in. It's a test to see, can it be regulated? We're going to do it in one place. Does it look familiar? That's what they're doing with crypto. And when trillions and I don't care if you believe in crypto or you don't believe in crypto, when trillions and trillions of Chinese dollars have a new path to escape that closed Chinese financial ecosystem, it is going to send the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies parabolic. So it's something to be aware of. We're going to talk about that coming up here on the program as well. Also, speaking of China, we remember how we banned a bunch of NVIDIA chips and stuff to slow down China's ability to do AI so that we have some time to get ahead. Well, now China is retaliating by banning all U.S.-made memory chips from a U.S. manufacturer. So we're going to tell you about that coming up on the program here as well. Now, if you are listening on the radio right now, you can also watch the program live at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. That's facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. We do, during the commercial breaks, I try to get in there and take a look at any comments that are going on and, generally try to be a part of the discussion there. If you guys, there's a whole Schrockville group of people that get together and, maybe we could call them Schrockadonians. You hear about that? Donald Trump called all of his followers Magadonians. Yeah, like Macedonians? Magadonians. So we'll call them Schrockadonians. Y'all, all the Schrockadonians over there in Schrockville at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You can check that out there and be a part of the conversation if you'd like as well. All right, so jumping on into it. What exactly is Secure Updater, guys? Everybody knows, now anyway, that you have to have antivirus. There are still some people that believe if you have an Apple computer, like an iMac or something, that because it's Apple, they're impervious to viruses. That is not true. Not by a long shot. In fact, you're one of the most valued targeted customers because once you're infected, you stay infected because you're not running anything to tell you you're infected. So unless the virus does something stupid, it can exist on your Apple the entire time you own it and you'll never know it's there, doing its little stuff in the background. So everybody now understands that you have to have an antivirus product. Some people prefer to protect their privacy. They use a VPN while they're on the internet. To hide their identity, their location, stuff like that. People take, you secure your Wi-Fi, you put a password on it. People take precautions to keep themselves safe and keep their families safe. However, when it comes to installing patches for the common programs we all have on our computers like LibreOffice, VLC Media Player, Adobe Reader, we just choose not to do it for some reason. Now, part of it is because there isn't a great big blinky sign that pops up that says it's time to update these products. Products like Google Chrome, for example, and Firefox, they update automatically, right? I mean, so you don't need to touch those. Well, they do, but they don't update immediately. They can take up to 2 weeks to install an update and then it'll pop up and say, do you want to install it now? And of course, you're in the middle of doing something, so you'll say no, and it won't install. So why are these updates coming out? Are the guys over at Adobe just bored on a Thursday night and said, you know what, let's make an update for Adobe Reader and change the version number just like one tick, just for grins? No, that's not it at all. When we talk to our representatives at Sophos and they give us the seminars on how computers are getting infected right now, the main way computers are getting infected is some kind of an action causes a person, to click on a link in an email, do something dumb on their computer. Most of the time it's because they're running junkier antivirus software, like the stuff that your internet service provider provides for you, for example, or, the Malwarebytes or Norton. Norton is not great anymore, guys. It's nowhere near great. I'd put it right up there with McAfee. Just not a mere shadow of what it used to be. So when you have weak antivirus and you make a mistake, then your computer, that's the initial step, the initial foot in the door. And then once that happens, the virus has to elevate its privileges. It has to become an administrator because it can't do anything on your computer until it has that administrator status, especially if you're on Windows 11. How does it get there? It looks for other weaknesses that it can exploit, other bugs in other pieces of software that allow it to elevate its privileges. So it's going to look for bugs in Chrome. It's found them before. It's going to look for bugs in Adobe Reader. It's found it before. It's going to look for bugs in Zoom and Dropbox. Found them there too. In fact, Dropbox gets updated literally like every other day. I don't know what they're updating on that every other day or if that many people are attacking Dropbox, but my goodness, every other day. There's like 12 updates a week that you should be doing on your computer that you're probably not doing on your computer. So when we were over at Schrock, we're sitting here saying, how do we get people to do the updates? How do we get them done on a computer? How do we get them done fast within, say, 8 hours of the release? Is it reasonable? How do we make this happen? So we created a product called Secure Updater. It is made by Schrock. Now, you'll notice it's not on the Schrock website, and there's a reason for that. Secure Updater is sold by dozens of other computer repair shops across the country. And of course, if we put, Schrock all over it, they aren't going to want to sell it because it's a Schrock product then. They want to sell it and represent it as their product. So it's called Whitebox. We whiteboxed Secure Updater. It has its own website at secureupdater.com. That's where you can go. You can get a free trial. You don't have to pay for it. We don't ask you for a credit card so we can charge you if you keep it. Nothing. It's completely free. You just try it out, and if you like it, you'll subscribe to it, and if you don't, you won't. And we understand. That's fine. So with Secure Updater, you install that free trial on your computer from secureupdater.com, and you try it for 15 days. Watch and see. If you haven't ever had Secure Updater on your computer before, install the free trial and watch and see how many things it updates for you on day one. After a few days in, it'll actually send you an email and tell you what it's been updating. And then it's going to say, hey, don't you want to buy it? Yeah. Secure Updater is pretty darn affordable. It's $50 the first year you buy it and $30 each additional year to renew it. So it's not expensive. It's not like big time antivirus software. It's a local program made by a local company, so we can charge a local price for it. And it's so popular that other computer repair shops sell it to their customers because they see the value in it. One of the things we get from other shops is, anybody can do these updates on. There's all kinds of programs out there that do these updates. Yes, there are other ways to do those updates, but there isn't a way that does them stupid magic simple, which is what we want for our customers, and that's what Secure Updater does. So if you haven't tried it before, I would encourage you to check out Secure Updater. If you have a Schrock computer, you already have it installed on your computer. You just got to go set up the account. And if you want help doing that, we can definitely set you up with a trial account right over the phone. Just give us a call in any of the service centers, and we're happy to help you out. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Dave, welcome to the program. What have you got for me today on Compute This?
Good morning, Thor.
Good morning.
I guess I should probably wait till later in the show, as I heard you talk about how to speed up your internet connection at home.
No, you're right.
What my problem is right now is that I've tried that check my speed on the computer, and it's showing I'm getting about 11 to 12 megabytes per second download, and I'm paying for 100.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Windstream Kinetic, whatever they're called now, modem in here, and they did run fiber to our house about, I want to say 2 years ago, but we do streaming on TV and stuff now, and this thing's buffering all the time and kicking out, and even the internet signal to the computer in the house is not very good. So I don't know, is it a possibility there's something wrong with the modem itself, or is there something else going on?
All right. So you said you have a Windstream modem. Is the modem and the router one box, or is it all together?
No, there's two separate boxes down here.
Okay. What's the router? Do you know what brand it is?
Looks like, one's a Cyber Power, and the other one is just as a Windstream. One says Cyber Power on it, though. So I don't know which one's which.
Well, Cyber Power is your
computer.
Modem
is the modem. Is that the one that's powering everything?
No, Cyber Power, I think, is your desktop computer, isn't it? I mean, is that what you're seeing is that the computer itself? 'Cause Cyber Power makes computers.
Well, Cyber Power's on this box in the basement down here. That's where the cable's coming in. The fiber's hooked to.
Okay. Oh, I see. I see.
And then there's a line from that going down here to my to the modem, the Windstream modem.
Okay, so it sounds like the modem is an all-in-one. Like the router is built into the modem, especially if it has an antenna on it. That's going to be the case. Sometimes the antenna is internal. What we see in these situations, especially Windstream. Gotta love Windstream. But,
Yeah.
but you have fiber. So, okay, there we go. As long as it's fiber coming all the way to the house. That's one of the tricks. They always say, we got fiber in your neighborhood. But yeah, but it's copper to your house. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, they actually ran fiber, and then they actually put a fiber line in. I was here the day they put it in, and we actually have fiber coming into the house
So if you've got fiber coming all the way into your house and you've gone through that headache to get that done, there is no excuse for your internet to be slow. It's definitely a router issue. You're definitely having a problem with the router, the wireless router. So what I always suggest our customers do is, every ISP, internet service provider, is going to give you an all-in-one device like that, and they're all they're crap. They're just awful. And so what you need to do is go out and get yourself a nice wireless router or an AI, like a mesh system, or just basically spend $150 on a router. When you get a nice router in the house, we hook the internet through that router rather than the one you're using now, and all of a sudden it's going to open up all the additional bands that you might not be getting the 5 gigahertz band right now, which is way faster than the 2.4 gigahertz band. It will allow you to have up to 250 devices on simultaneously. Without the buffering and all the nastiness. So there's definitely something going on with that wireless router in your house, and that's the reason you're experiencing the problem. It's not your fiber connection. It's definitely the router.
Any recommendations on what kind of router to get then? And it would be an all-in-one too, though, for that.
Well, no, you're
going to replace the one.
You're going to keep the modem. So the modem probably has a plug on the back that you can plug things into. You can actually hook up with wires rather than wirelessly.
Okay.
So you're going to take a wire from that modem and you're going to plug it into the new wireless router, and then we're going to set up the new wireless router to be the internet for the house. As far as brands go. There's a lot of different brands out there. There's a few that I would stay away from, but we like the TP-Link brands. That's what we sell in the service centers. They're easy to set up. They're easy to configure. They get very frequent security updates. It's a good brand. If you are in a situation where you're doing some more advanced stuff, like you have work from home and you need VPNs and everything else to log in around, you might look at an ASUS router instead. They're going to be like a $300 router, a lot more expensive, but it gives you some additional cybersecurity capabilities that you're going to want to have.
Okay, so you do sell those. You do sell those at the service center. I live in Beatrice, so I'd probably worth driving up to Lincoln sometime and picking one up. Then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have them in stock all the time. We're open today from noon to 5. Monday through Saturday, we're open from 10 in the morning until 8 in the evening.
Then I suppose they could probably help me kind of point me in the right direction for getting this thing set up then too, correct?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. When you open the box up, it's like there's those IKEA instructions right on the top, like do this first. Step 1, plug this in. Step 2, plug that in. Now, the difference with your fiber connection is there may be some settings that we have to get from your internet service provider. It's a little tough to do router setups remotely because we connect over the Schrock desk. We're connected over the internet.
Right.
And what are we doing? Blowing up your internet. So to rebuild it on the new router. So sometimes we do come on site. We could actually come out to you in Beatrice, bring one out to you, and set it up for you if that's something that you'd prefer us to do. But either way, of course, if you have questions during the setup process, we're always there to help.
All right, that sounds good. I will plan on doing that then.
All right, sounds good, Dave. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you joining us on the program today. And see, guys, it's that easy. Dave is in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. It will come in very handy for him if he's going to get that router. And you can jump in and try to take it away from him if you want to. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. I went a little bit long here, guys, so we're going to take a quick break. Short segment coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. We're going to get into some other ways you can speed up your slow internet connection here coming up on the program today. 402-558-1110 is the number to join us. 888-250-2091 if you're outside the Omaha metro area. I mentioned when we started off the program that I had an update for you on the Ford radio situation. So if you haven't heard the story, a lot of electric car manufacturers are pulling AM radios out of cars because they say the motors are interfering with the signal, right? You know, like AM listeners aren't used to driving under a high tension line and having it go, I mean, it's AM radio. You're used to it. It's what happens, right? But AM radio is a critical safety feature. It's basically the emergency broadcast system for mobile people. If you're rural, sometimes you can't even get an FM station where you're at. AM is all you can get. And if they take the radios out of cars, you know, more than half, easily more than half of all AM radio listening happens inside a vehicle. So it was a really big concern for the industry. So all the electric guys are already doing it. BMW's taking them out. Tesla doesn't have them. All of the electric guys are gone already. The Ford Mach-E did not have an AM radio. The Ford Lightning did not have an AM radio. Well, Ford was going to remove all radios from all vehicles, including gas-powered vehicles, in 2024, next model year. They have reversed the decision. Apparently, they heard from their customer base that AM radio is something a lot of them, driving pickup trucks in rural areas. Imagine that. Number one pickup truck sales company decides to pull the AM radio. What in the? So anyway, they decided to reverse course on that. Yay, Ford! Now let me give you the funny bit of the story. They are also going to restore AM radio in every single Mach-E that they have sold and every single Lightning that they've sold. Now remember, they removed the AM radio from these vehicles because of the electrical interference from the motors was so bad you couldn't hear it anyway, right? And they're going to restore the AM radio with a software update. Let that sink in for a second. The hardware is already in the vehicle. They're just going to do a software update to allow you to listen to the AM radio that's already built into your vehicle again. Isn't that awesome? So kind of them. So they didn't remove the AM radio. They just deprogrammed it from the head stack so you couldn't push AM anymore. They just prevented you from using it. Gee, I'm sure that even in gas-powered vehicles, I'm sure the reason they did that had to have been because of the interference. What if you were driving down the road next to one of these interfering electrical vehicles? In your gas-powered vehicle, the interference could be terrible. We better just disable it in all the vehicles. I'm sure this had absolutely nothing to do with the primary content that exists on AM radio. Sure, it's fine. Everything's fine. You can be your own. You can do your own math on this one, guys. But I'm happy to say that Ford has reversed course, and hopefully it leads to some additional changes from other manufacturers. A lot of people were pushing for Congress to get involved and actually mandate that all vehicles have AM radio in the United States. It's kind of funny when people say they're conservative and they're against the government being involved in every aspect of their life. And then they resort to asking the government to mandate what radios are put into cars that are manufactured by private companies. Sure, the government will do it. They can regulate. They literally try to regulate the time the sun comes up. So why wouldn't they try to regulate that too? All I'm saying, though, is if you're a conservative, you probably shouldn't want the government regulating anything, and look at how the free market works when people complain about it. So now people who want AM radios in their vehicles, they're just going to buy Fords. How long until GM follows suit? 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Got to take our bottom of the hour break. When we come back, ways you can speed up your slow internet connection. Lyle, your call. And also, Hong Kong is becoming a crypto oasis because of new laws that have just been passed there. We're going to tell you what's going on and why this is a bigger story than cryptocurrency. This is a larger symptom of what's literally wrong with America right now. We're going to tell you about it coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business.
Remember the good old days when virus detection worked like Where's Waldo? Spot the virus in the striped shirt and you win. Today's infections are changing hourly to avoid detection and use social engineering to trick you into making mistakes. Using yesterday's security to defend against today's threats is like using leeches to stop an infection. It just doesn't work. We recommend Sophos Intercept X antivirus backed by Schrock's virus-free guarantee. Sophos uses the power of AI to detect the patterns of a virus attack and responds with Schrock's custom actions that stop it fast. With Sophos on your PC, Mac, Android, or iOS device, you get the state-of-the-art protection you need to defend against the most advanced attacks out there. In fact, if your device gets a virus while running Sophos antivirus, Schrock will remove it for free, guaranteed. It hasn't happened yet, and we intend to keep it that way. Ditch your dad's antivirus and keep your device, data, and identity safe with Sophos and Schrock Innovations.
Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. I have to tell you guys, this time of year, what happens in the computer repair world, in the IT tech world as a whole, you see all kinds of announcements about new technologies. You know, there's new AR, VR glasses coming from Apple. There's new VR stuff coming from Facebook. You've got Schrock Innovations talking about a new drive advisor. Why is it that everybody announces all this stuff in the summertime? It's because we're all bored and we have nothing else to do but develop new things for you to buy at Christmas time. So that's what's going on. It's no different. It's an IT industry-wide in the summertime. Imagine that. People get out from behind their screens and go do other stuff. They go on vacation. They go to graduations. They go to the pool. They get out in the yard. They do the gardening. They water the yard. They do other stuff. And therefore, they're not on their tech as much and they're not breaking it all the time. So we tend to see a little bit of a slowdown in the summer months, the May, June, July months. Comes back in August for back to school for obvious reasons. But if you have one of those maintenance checkup certificates that you purchased because you wanted to bring your computer in for preventative maintenance at a time you could get it back very quickly, this is that time. So if you have those, I would encourage you strongly to use those now so you can bring them into the service center. If you're not sure if you still have one, maybe you thought, hey, I think I bought one of those, but did I ever use it? give us a call in the service center. We can check and see if you have one on file that you can use. And if you do, we'll get you in and get your computer maintenance up so it's running at top efficiency for you as quickly as possible. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Lyle, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
It's actually Kyle.
Oh, Kyle. Good to go. Sorry about that, buddy.
No, that's fine. Hey, I bought the Ultimate Upgrade, and when I wanted to run it sometimes off my mobile hotspot
Yeah.
and also use my wireless printer, but I can't get it to connect to both at the same time. Is that possible?
Unfortunately not. So what's happening is you're connecting to a wireless network from your hotspot on your phone, and your printer is connected to your home network. So the only way that you could set this up would be if you fired up the hotspot on your phone, connected the printer to the phone's hotspot, connected the computer to the phone's hotspot, which would create a network of basically 3 devices, and then the computer will be able to find the printer. But as soon as you turn off the hotspot, no more printer.
Okay. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate the call. Thanks for joining us on the program today. All right, so ways that you can speed up your internet connection. We've talked about a little bit about this already now, but the first thing is, and I got to hit you with the basics first. Have you tried turning it off and on again? No, I mean literally the basics. If a person is paying, say, $19.99 a month for the internet, don't expect it to be fast. It ain't going to be fast. It doesn't matter what you do in your home. You could do a little rain dance, stand on your head. Your internet is not going to get any faster. So number one, you get what you pay for. If you're paying a garbage price for internet, and by garbage price, if you want fast internet, you're going to pay $50, $60 a month minimum for fast internet. Now, what is fast? What's fast to you and what's fast to me could be different things, right? I pay way more than $50 a month for the internet. Although Ron has told me a cool way that I can get my ISP to maybe lower it by threatening to leave. I don't really want to leave, but if I threaten to leave, it's like, is it always a good idea to marriage doesn't work that way. If you threaten to leave, you don't get what you want. They just tell you to get out, Maybe what if Cox calls my bluff and says, "Oh, sorry to see you go, Mr. Schrock. Have a great life." Well, wait, I didn't mean it. It's like, how do you go back? So if you want to get your internet faster, though, and let's say you are paying for a reasonable internet speed, something that should be pretty fast, the first thing we have to do is measure where you're at. Check the speed of your internet. So as a rule, wired connections are always more stable and faster than wireless connections. So if we want to test the true speed of your internet, it's best to do it on a wired device. Now, if you don't have a wired device, obviously you'll have to do it on a wireless device. But that introduces some more variables, and we'll get to that in a moment. Kind of like we were talking about on the previous caller, where I said it was his router, because the fiber coming in is ultra fast. There is no reason for fiber to be slow. So if he's getting slow speeds on his wireless devices that he's connecting like the TV and stuff like that, buffering, that's the router, and he needs a new router. So first thing we got to do is check your speed. You can go to speedtest.net, and it's a free speed check. You hit go, you pick a server. Usually Chicago is the closest one. If Chicago's too busy, it'll go to Dallas. And then it uploads some stuff and downloads some stuff. Now, while it's running, don't do anything else with the computer. Don't try to check your email or have any other programs open or browse the internet or anything like that. Just let the computer do the speed test. Try to keep everybody else in the house from doing anything on the internet. It will impact the speed test. Once the speed test is done, you will have an idea of how fast that individual device can connect to your wireless network. Now, you can test phones. There's an app for the speed test. You can test tablets like iPads. You can test laptops, obviously, desktops. You can test wired and wireless. Different devices might give you different speeds, and there's a lot of reasons for that. All right, so number 2, if all of the devices in your house come back with garbage speed, that's a really good sign that it's time to do something with that router. The first thing, ironically enough, that you need to do to the router is turn it off and on again. How do you do that? There's this little usually black plug that pushes into the back of the router, usually toward the right side or the left side of the device, if you lay it flat on the table. This is called the power cord. So if you want to turn it off, you just pull that cord out. There is no safe shutdown for your router. You just yank it out. You can go in and click the reboot button and do everything. It's the same thing. Pull the power cord, yoink. It doesn't have a clip. It's not a data cable. So it's just a little, it doesn't screw on or anything like that. Literally, it just slides out. Just pull it out. All the lights should go out. Plug it back in. Now, it is going to take probably a minute for everything to reboot again and get everything synchronized. So if you lose your internet connection, well, you unplugged it. That's why you lost it. Don't freak out. When it comes back up again, go back and run the speed test again. Are you getting a different measurement? If so, you needed to reboot your router. Every router needs to be rebooted from time to time. I have mine set up to automatically install firmware updates, and of course it has to reboot when it does that. So I'm getting about one reboot a month automatically. But if you have to reboot your router more than once or twice in a month, there's something going on with the router. You should look at a replacement. So that's the next thing. Reboot the router. Next up, the router's location is important. The further a wireless device is from your router, the weaker the signal is. The weaker the signal is, the slower the speed. So that first caller who said he was always having buffering on his TV, if his TV is clear on one side of the house and his router is clear on the other side of the house, that could be why. So try moving the router to a more central location if you can. Now, in his particular case, he had fiber coming in. Well, that's coming into a specific spot in the house, so you can't really move the router away from the fiber. It is where it is. In that case, you can get what's called an AI mesh system. The mesh system is basically it's a whole bunch of routers. It's 1, 2, 3, or 4 routers. You put them throughout the house in different places, and they act like repeaters, so you get a strong signal no matter where you're at. They cost a little bit of money. It's kind of expensive, so we don't go that route first of all. Easy way you can check this. If this is a problem, if you're getting weak signal on one side of the house, take a laptop or a phone or something like that. Laptop would be ideal, something without cellular, maybe a tablet. Take it over to where the signal is weak and see if the signal, do a speed test and if you can see what you get. Then go closer to the router and do the speed test again. And you should notice the closer you get to the router, the faster the speed test gets. Imagine that. So try to locate your devices as close to the router as possible if they're wireless. Otherwise, you're going to have to move to a mesh network. This is one I always laugh at this. Check your wiring. Yeah, like, why would a wire go bad, right? No joke. We were having the worst trouble with internet in my house. And my wife, she got to the point, the lovely Kimberly was like, I thought you were a computer guy. And I was like, I was wounded. Oh, gosh. I could not get the internet to work in our house reliably. Now, it worked fine for me. I never had a problem with it. But my wife always was having problems. My son was having problems. They would defer. They would pop a hotspot rather than get on the house Wi-Fi. Sometimes they're streaming the TV from their hotspot because the Wi-Fi was too unreliable to watch a TV show. What was going on? Well, my son, he was, I think, 14 at the time, and I taught him to make an Ethernet cable. We had the crimpers out and everything, and we made one so he could hook his Xbox up to the router so he could have a wired connection for his Xbox. It's faster. For gaming, it's better to be wired than it is to be wireless. The cable failed. Something went wrong. Flaw in the crimping, I don't know. We screwed up when we made it, I don't know. Something was wrong with that cable, and whenever that cable was plugged in, randomly, the internet in the house would just go finicky. The wireless would. It made no sense to me whatsoever, but on a lark, finally I got down to process of elimination. I unplugged that wire, and sure enough, everything got stable after that. So to this day, my son is still on wireless. We just haven't remade the cable yet. But check your wiring. If you have cats, for example, I used to have a cat back in the day. They like to chew on those gummy little Ethernet cables, and they'll pop their little teeth through there. Sometimes you can hardly see the little teeth holes, but those wires are so delicate in there that you don't even have to break the wire. You just have to scrape away some of the shielding, and that's really enough to cause it. A 90-degree kink in an Ethernet cable will dramatically impact the speed of the cable. They should never be folded or bound tightly or kinked or zip tied down to the point where they're being compressed. You should treat them like an egg, basically, as gently as you would treat an egg. The last thing we're going to hit on here, guys, is, I mentioned there's a 5 gigahertz band and a 2.4 gigahertz band. A lot of modern routers combine the two bands together into one internet signal, a Wi-Fi 6 signal. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The device will figure out what connection it needs and it'll use the one that it needs. However, if you allow the bands to be separate, then you can say devices that stream stuff do better on the high speed connection. And devices like your Ring Video Doorbell, for example, that don't use that much, you can put those on the 2.4 gigahertz connection, the slower connection. You know, if you have a kid's iPad, you can put that on the 2.4 gigahertz connection so they're not gumming up the 5 gigahertz connection. And then you can kind of create priorities for your network. So there is something to be said for keeping those separate. It's a little bit more in the weeds as far as how you set up your device. But long story short, if you're having trouble with your internet, if it's buffering, try disconnecting from the channel you're on, the 2.4 gigahertz channel, and connecting to the 5 gigahertz channel, or vice versa. Sometimes that can solve the problem right away for you. So there you go, guys. A few simple, easy ways at home that you can diagnose a slow internet connection and figure out how to fix it. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Randy, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Good morning, Thor.
Morning.
Hey, I shut down my computer. I was gone from town a few days, and I've come to fire it up this morning, and I tried to log in, and it recognizes my numeric keys, but not my letter keys.
Oh, that's not good.
No, I didn't think so.
I'm assuming your password has letters in it, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's bad.
So I'm locked out.
Okay, so first things first, your keyboard's probably USB, right?
Yes.
Is it wireless or wired?
It's wired, and I tried a new one. I have another one in my closet. I plugged it in. It does the same thing.
Wow, the same. So you've tried two different keyboards, and you can't get any of the letters to work?
Nope.
I have never.
I
heard
tried
that one
rebooting
before.
several times. Oh, good. I'm glad it's still.
Yeah, this is a new one for me. Let's see. Keyboard won't type. Here's how to unlock a keyboard on a keyboard not typing letters. So apparently other people have had this problem though. Let's see. Batteries, blah blah. Oh, this is all just a junk. This is one of those AI generated websites. I hate that. Blah blah blah. Malfunctioning keyboard. Plug your keyboard in properly. Change your batteries. Clean your keyboard. Yeah, that's why every letter on the keyboard doesn't work, because you ate Doritos over it. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that's it. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and is it Windows 10 or Windows 11?
I love it.
11, okay. Okay, so the next thing, the only other thing that I've got as a quick fix for you here is there's an on-screen keyboard that you should be able to activate. So on your login screen,
Yes.
if you click on the on-screen keyboard, this will give you a keyboard on the screen, and you can use the mouse to click on the individual letters to go ahead and get logged in.
Yeah, that doesn't work either.
Well, when you click the letters on the on-screen keyboard, it's not working?
No.
Okay. Something wackadoo is going on here, because the on-screen keyboard, there is no hardware reason, there is no sticky keys or filter keys or anything that should prevent that from working. So if that's not working, this is definitely something I'd like to get a look at, just to make sure we're not infected with something, or to make sure there's not some major operating system. Because what I was going to basically have you do is use that to get logged in, go into the device manager, and then uninstall and reinstall the keyboard. Well, if that's not working, well, then there's definitely something going on. There's something corrupt in the operating system, and we can get that resolved in the service center. Unfortunately, it's something you have to boot from a flash drive and do stuff like that. If we boot from a flash drive, and then we can suddenly type on your keyboard, at that point, we through a process of elimination, we've eliminated all the hardware concerns. We now know it's software because we can type if we boot off of a flash drive. So then what we would do is say, okay, what's going on in Windows that's preventing this from typing? And we would work on clearing that problem up and then restoring that access for you. But unfortunately, we're probably going to need to see this one in the shop, Randy.
Okay.
Welcome back, by the way.
Thanks for your
Yeah,
help.
welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
The good news is things are slow in the shop, so we'll get you turned out real quick.
All right. I'll bring it in.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you,
Thor.
Randy. Appreciate it. Have a great afternoon. 402-558-1110. All right, we got about 10 minutes left in the show and a lot to get to. We still got to talk about the Hong Kong crypto thing, the U.S.-made microchips getting banned in China. We have Steph and Shannon on the phone line, so we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to get it all done when we come back next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases, even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys. People on Facebook at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations are asking, what is that squeaking sound in the background? The funny thing is, it's the way Roger sits in his chair. Because that's the same chair that everybody else sits in every other time I'm on the air. And when Roger sits in it, I mean, he kicks back. He gets comfy, you know? He's relaxed. He's laid back. And there you go. The chair squeaks.
Sorry about that.
So there you go. That's the squeaky sound. He says, it sounds like someone's chair needs WD-40. Now, I was like, we should do a video. Like, I have a key card. I can come in the middle of the night. I could put on like a ninja suit and I could like beat myself in. And then I could do like a tumble roll down the hall and whip out a can of WD and spray the chair all stealthy. And then next week, Roger would be like, my chair won't squeak anymore. You know, sorry, Raj. You know, some ninja guy came in the middle of the night with a can of WD, and he had a little can of WD to spray the big can to get it to open easier. You know, one of the Hank Hill things there going on. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. Steph, welcome to the show. What can I do for you on Compute This today?
Well, I need to delete one of my Gmail email accounts.
Okay.
But OneDrive is set up to that.
Oh.
So I didn't know if, yeah.
Okay, so you can go, if you can change the email address associated to your OneDrive account. So before you cancel the Gmail account, any other things that you have set up to use that Gmail as a recovery address, you should update those first, because typically what's going to happen is if you go to OneDrive.com and you sign in with your Microsoft username and password, it'll let you in, and it's going to ask you under your account, you'll have your information. When you update the email, it may send an email to the old address to confirm that it's okay to change it. And that's to prevent a hacker from maybe stealing your password and then getting in and changing your recovery address, effectively locking you out of your Microsoft account forever if they change the password. So before you close the Gmail account, make sure that you change the password at OneDrive.com, and then you'll be good to go. All right. Hey, thank you for the call, Steph. I appreciate it. Appreciate you joining us here on the program today. All right. So I know a lot of you don't care a ton about crypto, so I'm not going to get into all the Bitcoin and the Ethereum and all the explanations of what it is and how it works and everything like that. What I'll give you is the dime store tour is cryptocurrency is a digital currency. Different digital currencies have different attributes to them, whatever. That's a conversation for a different time. There is debate as to whether cryptocurrency actually has a value or not. But like the US dollar, because people believe it has a value, it does. That's the only reason the US dollar has a value, by the way. It's because you believe it does. So people believe that Bitcoin has a value. I believe when I sold my Bitcoin, a bunch of it, because I thought, oh boy, this FTX stuff, it was down at 16,900. I thought it was going in the gutter. I sold a bunch of Bitcoin at 16.9. Turns out 16.9 was the low. That was the low. It was the bottom. And now we're back up over 26,000. I shorted myself tens of thousands of dollars of real, actual money I could have had in the bank by selling at 16.9. So real people make and lose real money with cryptocurrency. Now, in the America that I grew up in the 1980s, it certainly wasn't perfect. By a stretch of the imagination, it was not perfect. There was corruption, there were scandals, there was all kinds of stuff. But you had some real freedom. Now, American companies that want to engage in cryptocurrency business, which is a business like any other business, have obstacle after obstacle after obstacle thrown in their path by not only the United States, but other countries as well, because they cannot tolerate a competitor to the U.S. dollar. There cannot be a way outside of the U.S. economic system for you to hold your wealth, because you must suffer inflation. You must receive a low deposit rate on your bank account. This is the way, as the Mandalorian says. Well, guess what? In the freedom-loving, God-fearing country of Hong Kong, now China, yeah, I said that right, cryptocurrency is legal. The exchanges can get a certificate. They have to have a whopping capital reserve of $690,000 in the bank in order to become a crypto exchange. That's it. FTX had way more than that. And then there are licensed crypto exchanges that can operate anywhere in the world. Do you know that right now when I do crypto stuff, I have to engage a Hong Kong exchange because I can't do what I need to do on an American exchange anymore because the U.S. government has shut them all down. They're even pushing Coinbase out of the country, for heaven's sake. You want to try to do business with American companies. You want to buy American. You want to do that, and then you have the lack of freedom. That's what really gets me here. If I want to start a cryptocurrency exchange, I get it. There's got to be regulation. There's got to be, you can't be laundering money for criminals. I understand all that, and I agree with that. But the U.S. government refuses to give a framework by which people can comply. Well, now Hong Kong has done that. They've created a framework, specific rules, specific things. Check these boxes. You can get a license, and you can become a cryptocurrency exchange. Watch the money flood away from the United States toward Hong Kong. Watch it happen. And it's going to be a lot of money. Now, it's not going to be like, Empire making money or anything like that. But it's just another chink in the armor. It's like outsourcing automobile manufacturing. It's not an Empire amount of money, but it's a lot of money. It's like outsourcing anything else that we've outsourced. And now we're doing it to cryptocurrency. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Real quick here, Shannon, thanks for hanging on the line. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Hey, good morning, Thor. Sorry for the last-minute call.
No worries.
We can run this over into the Aftershock if you want.
All right. Well, what's the question? Let's see if we can answer it real quick.
Well, it's a software question. I've been trying for over 2 weeks to get a video software program to work. I have one I used to use, and it's not working, and I just need some help on that. I'm trying to help a neighbor who has opened up a ranch for veterans to do equine therapy. There was a feature on them on television. I can run it through my computer, but I want to do a screen capture,
Gotcha.
And it'll give them something to have to keep, and I'm not able to do it. So
All
maybe
right.
we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'll mention that during the Aftershock. That's coming up next on the program, guys. Steph, congratulations. You're the winner of the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. And we'll see you all again next week for another edition of Compute This.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the U.S.